So me and Vaughn got into a debate the other day in the car, and I've seen this online before, it being a little conflicting. And I do want to get some of our listeners' like opinion and stuff because I feel strongly how I feel. He's a little undecided. Well, I'm not gonna say undecided, but
I'm on the fence with it.
You're on the fence with it.
I understand both sides.
I want to talk about parents charging their children rent. So, me personally, I think if your child is trying to get ahead, then I don't believe in charging my child rent. I feel like if you are coming home from college and you're trying to figure out where you're going to work, because I've seen a lot of my friends get out of college with their degree and not know, what's next, or what job am I going to go to, or where am I going to go live. It's like, okay, so I have the option to go back home, and some parents think because, you're over 18 and you're coming back to my home, you need to pay some bills around here. Me personally, if you know your child doesn't have it and they're trying to get on their feet, then no, you shouldn't charge your child rent, because guess what? They were in your house before they were grown. You weren't charging a little kid rent, were you? So why does it matter how old they are to be charging them rent? I think when a lot of kids, teenagers, young adults go back to their parents' house, trust me, it's not by a choice that they want to do. In most cases, they go back home because they have to. They don't have anywhere else to go. They're financially just not there as far as living on their own. And it just doesn't make sense, really, if you are by yourself and a young adult and you don't have it, to just jump out there and live by yourself paying high rent, because rent is high. I just think maybe get a roommate, or go back to your parents' house. If you don't have any other means, stay with a family member. But no, I don't agree.
Yes.
I don't agree.
Go back to your family house, stack up, have a plan. So once you leave your parents' house, you're owning. That's what I would say. That's the best strategy. However, it's hard to stack up when you're staying at your parents' house and you being charged rent.
Exactly.
It is difficult. However, as a parent, teenagers, let's take out from the age at least of 24, 25 down and younger. We're not talking about them. They shouldn't be rushed out the house. Now, a lot of times, parents feel like once you get 18, you got to get up out of here. We are against that. I am, excuse me.
I don't agree with that.
I don't agree with that as well. A lot of the reason why we have to go through so much trial and error, and we just put ourselves in so many bad positions where our credit may get messed up, is because we're jumping into things or almost forced into things to try and figure out things on our own rather than us staying at home. And I can say myself, originally my mom told me to stay at home, but I was one of the ones that was like, nah, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get my own place. So I understand it's not just only on the parents, because sometimes you can tell your child, hey, this may not be the best thing, and we have to find out the hard way. Now, of course, we do live in our own, we do live by ourselves. We don't stay with our parents, but we have stayed with our parents.
Boy.
And like I said, it's just an adjustment. So I'm sure anybody that has can speak on this exactly how they feel.
I've been on both sides. My mom, when I would go back with her, she wouldn't charge me rent. She understood I need to get on my feet. I don't have it. Like, I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing. Your mom, she's charged us rent.
Yeah. Man, I understand in regards to, okay, we're both working, we're making money, so we have to pitch out. We all trying to help each other out. If everybody had it, if it was already had, it wouldn't be no means to asking or, requesting some rent. But I think the amount that you request in rent, that certainly matters as well. Or
you shouldn't charge me like an apartment would charge me if I'm your child. That's what I think. If you're gonna charge me rent, let's be a little reasonable. Don't have you charge me as if I'm about to pay half your mortgage.
And then no. I'll say this. And if you do, that's fine.
No,
But do it as if I'm living in my own apartment. You can't.
Don't bother me.
The issue that occurs when staying with parents is, of course, it's your house, it's your rules. But if I'm helping pay for this house, it's like, just respect what's mine. I'm not coming moving any of your stuff.
privacy.
Yeah, and and that's where sometimes that parent and child dynamic just
Clash.
clash together, which would make the child like, okay, I'm ready, I gotta go on my own, I gotta be out on my own, I'm independent anyway, I don't necessarily need to be here. This may not be financially, it may be what's best, but in regards for my peace, it may not be what's best for me. So, but on the other aspect of it, I tell Jessica, I'm not totally against charging your child for rent, because you have some children that will live with you until you die. They'll live with you until you die. I mean, as simple as that. It's not till an age 30, 35, 40. No, they gonna wait till you die, and then they just hope you pass the house down to them.
That's
because
true.
they have no plan, because you've been taking care of them, enabling them for so long. They have no plan to move out on their
We
own.
all know that uncle that be with grandma.
We all know that uncle. We all know that uncle. Aunts. Well, I mean, because it's gender specific. We all know. Like, so it's really tough, but we would love to hear what our parents, please do, to call in, comment, because this is a hot topic, and we certainly will come back to it in another episode. We don't want to dig in too much, but please, you can comment at the Birth of Success podcast at gmail.com, or by sending us a message, a DM on Instagram at the Birth of Success podcast. We would love to hear some stories.
And with that, I did want to kind of touch on like people of other cultures, like how their family dynamics are versus like the Black community with helping each other. Because you made a point, like some parents do believe at 18, like you grown, you gotta leave the nest, it's time for you to go out into the world and figure it out. And I do notice in other cultures, which I've heard before, like they get like a big home together, and it's like a lot of them in the home, but they have the space, and it helps everybody kind of save their money up until they want to go and leave the nest. And in other cultures, they do really help each other with that kind of dynamic. So I'm just curious to what you all think as far as like other cultures doing that versus the Black community, all staying together in a big home or any kind of way. I know in New York they do that anyway, but in like Midwest, down south, like even up some places up north, usually when you're 18, your parents are like, all right, what's next?
Yeah, you going to college or the military, you gotta go. You gotta get up out of here. You can't be sitting up in here, and if you're working, you gotta be paying bills. That's what we know. That's what we're used to. Now, that doesn't go for all parents. That doesn't go for all Black parents either. So we definitely not trying to just, but I'm sure a lot of you can relate. As Jessica said, in other cultures, I know in the Chinese culture, it's not just a family, it's the whole community that works together. And what they do is they save up and they all purchase businesses together to the point where everybody that's in the home or everybody that's in the community all have their own business. But they do that by staying in the same place and working together, not paying $1,500-$1,600 in rent a piece. That's what one of the reasons why the Black community does not have as much wealth as we should. If I'm paying $1,500, my mom's paying $1,500, my sister's paying $1,500, my other sister's paying $1,500. Look, we can just get a big house paying $3,000 a mortgage and all have our own space. And we would certainly be saving money rather than the family together paying almost $7,000-$8,000 a month in rent.
Being apart.
And a lot of times you spend a lot of your time being with your family members anyway. Now, we all have those family members, or we all have those listeners that say, oh no, I can't live with my family members. They get on my nerves. So
That's understandable.
that's understandable as well. However, we're preaching on black wealth. We're preaching on wealth, period, for our children. Not just for blacks, but we're a little behind. So that's why we're specifically speaking towards the African American community. I know you haven't, this is not the first time that you've heard this. However, we just wanted to double down on it.
We just need more togetherness.
We just want to see more black excellence, as we've been seeing over the last few years.
It's definitely increased by far, and I love it. And I want it to keep happening. We wanted
to double. We wanted to multiply. We wanted to quadruple.
We've seen the numbers as far as how companies benefit from black people alone. So just think, if you're doing that within your own community.
Family and community. Just imagine that. Just imagine if we instead of...
What if we had all the corner stores in the hood? Guess what? The money is circulating through our community.
That's right. That's right. And we don't have to just have the corner stores in the hood. We
I'm
can
saying
just have
you
the
can have
corner
them
stores.
anywhere.
What if we had the corner stores? Group economics. It goes back to, it's much harder for me to get a grocery store by myself, or for me to get a corner store by myself, than if my entire family, we all put our means together, we all put our income together, and now we go and we get a corner store. That's the way to go. That's the way it works. Other cultures have been doing it, so it's time for us to hop on board, and we'll leave that alone.